Hello! Welcome to Trigger Warning Sunday. Hashtag not Irish, hashtag the real Sunday view. My man Richie's not been live today, actually, so I feel a bit bad sort of throwing shade at him. He's a good lad, though, isn't he? He's wrong about a lot of things, but he's a good lad. But yeah, he's not live today, so I can't listen to his inferior show before we get started. Guys, let me know you can hear me all right and say hello. We've already got Robert, who's already wrecked. Nice one, Robert. Natalie said hello. Nat as well, Nat Lynch. Little Glob's with us. And she says, morning all, great cure for your hangover. Yeah, why not? Why not? The room's filling up nicely. I went live a little bit earlier just to sort of help people in. Although my things... Hello, Julian. Hello. You all right? You all right? We've also got a single and non-triggerist sitting in our anon room. Guys. If you want to support the show, the biggest thing you can do is subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, share the clips, share the main show. Thank you for so many of you that you have been doing. Our subscribers have been going through the roof. Our views have been going through the roof. All the metrics are great. Everything. The only thing that's down a little bit is watch time. But that's acceptable because we used to only put out an hour-long video per week, and that was it. So our watch time was like 20, 30 minutes. Now we're putting out these little clips. It's down to like 4 minutes, but I'm happy with that. If we're putting out a 10-minute clip, of course the watch time's going to go down. You've got to account for all the people that are clicking on our things just to go, shut up, you moron! Which I adore, obviously. Guys, this is the Trigger Warning website. As always, it's a work in progress, but it is designed to be a hub just for you. Oh, I've done that a bit wrong there, haven't we? Let me get back into thingy, and I'll just, there we go. So the idea is you can see as much of it as possible. There we go. Right. Oh, I'm on there now. Look at that. Hello. We are live Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. Sundays right now, obviously 12 till 1-ish. I tend to go a little bit longer. It's the only part of my life where I go longer than expected. The vodcast, of course, on Tuesdays, 10:30 till God knows what time. It depends how angry we are. That's me and Hayden together. And then, of course, on Thursday, the big show with Hayden. Thursdays, 10 p.m. All times UK time. Please join us live so that you can get involved and let us know how we are right or wrong. Or, in the case of right now, if you've got a story, please let me know. Put it in the comments. Tell me what you want to talk about. Or you can tweet me at Graeme Boove. I'll remember to actually... Yep, I've got my Twitter open. Thank goodness for that. Drop me a tweet, any stories, anything you want me to talk about, react, and all the rest of it. Obviously, if it's something that's just happened now, it's going to be very, very much on the side of opinion because I can't do the research around it. Natalie Stacey has said social trigger warning is down. Yes, it has. I'm so sorry. Members of our awesome not Facebook social media site, we've had some issues recently because it's all part of the move onto the foreign servers. So basically, we want free speech. No doxing, nothing illegal, but we want free speech. We want you to be able to express yourself as you feel. And we are moving on to foreign servers. They cost more money, but we've had more subs recently. We've had more patrons, so it's good. It's good. We're just having a little bit of teething trouble with it. That's all. That's all it is. And I can't really tell you much beyond that, because it's Hayden's job. Guys, if you want to donate, there's the PayPal right there. There's a big donate button. If we provide value, we put out hours and hours for you every single week. Most weeks anyway. We have Christmas off. If you find value in that, if you find value in what we do, in the conversations that we spark, and the people that we call out, if you find value in that and you want to have an honest, open trade, then please consider donating with whatever you feel comfortable with. Obviously, if you just want to watch for free, that's absolutely fine. Completely voluntary. But if you find value in what we do, please, you want to keep it going, then please donate. My little girl's in school in September, so it's either going to be carrying on with this or get a real job. I've been looking as well, and oh my God, I can keep my missus at bay. If we just get a few more patrons, I think she'll be happy. Speaking of which, there's a link there, Trigger Warning TV. Go on our Patreon. Go on our Telegram. The Telegram, I think there's about a dozen or so people on it at the moment. This is future-proofing. if we ever get deplatformed, if we ever get censored, which we already have been squashed. Our YouTube metrics were going wahoo, and then there's been a definite thing there. I don't know which one it was that did it. But if you want to get notifications off us guaranteed, then join our trigger warning group. Links to everything are in the description to this YouTube. We've also got a link to the Brave browser there. It's a bit like Chrome, but by using it, like Chrome in the sense that it's got all the add-ons and all the rest of it. If you want to use that, then you can get you can support the show by clicking the affiliate link. I think after you've used it for a month, we get like $5 or something like that. Costs you nothing, and you can support the show. So if you fancy doing that, links as always are in the description. These are all the things. These are not paid. These are not paid links. These are people we like, including Richie Allen. Thanks so much for the shout out yesterday. He described me as being full of shit, which is the highest of compliments from our Richie. Thoughts on the way media is reporting the clashes at Tommy Robinson's event yesterday. Yes, that's the main story. I'm going to get to that very, very soon, Julian. Natalie Stacey's happy about the social. Yeah, I'm sorry about the social media. We will get back on it. You can carry on posting pictures of your dinner very, very soon. I quite like social.trigger warning because people share a lot of stand-up comedy from old and new, and I quite like when I log in. It's weird because obviously trigger warning, we talk about news and politics and now the route, and we try to fix everything, but when I go on social.trigger warning, I find myself just watching comedy and relaxing and enjoying myself with people. So I'm a bit gutted that it is down, but it will be back up. It will be back up. And some good news for people in the live chat, which tends to be a bit empty on Sundays. It gets hammered on a Thursday, but yeah, we've just got one mysterious and non-triggerist today. We've moved the chat back over there, so in fact that might be why it's quiet. We did have an issue with people. They couldn't chat and watch the thing at the same time. We fixed that, so please. Again, this is like our Telegram, future proofing. If YouTube deplatforms us, if YouTube turns off the chat, turns off the comments, we can replace this video here with whatever we want. We can stream from anywhere, and there will be a video here, and there will be a chat here that is unmoderated and uncensored and freedom of speech. If we're not here. We get this a lot on our comments, like, oh, well, you probably won't reply, you'll probably delete it, you'll probably block me, and it's like, no. We want to hear from you, even if you're full of shit. Always. That's the whole point. This is a free speech enterprise. I'm providing my perspective. Obviously, I think I'm right, but I'm open to being wrong, and that's how it goes. Right, let's get on with the show. First up. Ooh, a little congratulations for Manchester. It is a great time to be a fair weather fan, isn't it, eh? Manchester have won the domestic treble. First team in history. Well done. That's all I'm going to say. Just wanted to thrive. I was trying to get my daughter into it because she's finally realised that we live in Manchester, and we got a train to York and stuff. So she's got this kind of. She finally worked out that we've got that we are in a place. And she kept saying when we got back, it's so good to be back in Manchester. And then when I had the football on yesterday, he kept going, Manchester. And she kept going, oh, that's us, that's me. And she's pointing at him going, hey, Daddy, that's me. I love it, man. It's cool as well. Like, she doesn't, people are so worried about, like, unconscious bias and racism and all that bollocks. And she just doesn't give a fuck. Kids don't care. They really don't. In fact, she identifies with black women more than anything because she always goes, they've got tangly hair just like me, Daddy. And I'm like, I know. And it's beautiful. It's lovely. I love it. Another quick shout out as well. His Dark Materials is coming. It's a BBC HBO crossover. I'm really excited about this. Philip Pullman. Do you remember when the first film got made? And then it had that sexy lady in it that always does me in, Nicole Kidman. Oh, I want her to be bad to me. And, there's some girls I want to get with and be happy, but with her, I want her to punish me. Oh. But yeah, there's a new one coming soon. Very, very much looking forward to this. It's a Bad Wolf production, and yeah, I'm excited about this. I really, really am. And it's one of the good things about the BBC, because there is that kind of weird, the BBC bias probably works in the favour of the anti-religion themes of this. And it's not that I'm particularly pro or anti-religion or whatever. I don't care. I just want a good story. Hopefully, though, The Marxists at the BBC will do a good job at this anyway. That was a bit tongue-in-cheek, by the way. Just so we're clear. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, share, subscribe. Please, I'm going to check the comments. Guys, if you've got any stories, please let me know. My DMs are open. If you don't want to publicly tweet me, that's fine. At Graeme Booth. It's all good. Do whatever you want. No problem. Absolutely fine. Right, I've got some... I don't know why I don't do this. You know what I'm going to do? Right. Schadenfreude. Still not said it right. All right, have a little bit of Schadenfreude for you at the top here. It's made me very, very happy, this. So, well, this hasn't, but I'm going to get to it in a second. Media Matters, Vox and HuffPo, three completely disgraceful, disgusting organisations that is activism disguised as journalism, which is the theme for today's show. They've got our Mayor Pete, who he slid into the Beto position. You may remember Beto O'Rourke, the Democrat candidate that celebrities poured millions into for his Texas campaign. He lost, but everyone said he's going to be president. Now, Mayor Pete came along, very, very similar sort of vibe about him, but he's gay. He's proudly gay. So obviously, with the Democrats being completely lost to identity politics at the moment, this guy just wiped Beto off the ground. And you know, good or bad, I think he seems like a nice guy to me. He does. Perfectly good person to be a candidate, all the rest of it. I don't like all the identity politics about him, but he doesn't really do the identity politics as so much, if that makes sense. Like, it's other people putting it on him, and I'm not gonna judge him for what his supporters say. Now, he was due to be on Rubin Report with Dave Rubin, a show that I don't watch. I don't really like it myself, but it does have value. It has tremendous value. It does have biases, of course it does. Dude, he's a mad libertarian, man. But the value it has is it has people on and it lets them speak. Yeah, you might like these people, you might not like these people. He has a huge mix of people on there with all sorts of different perspectives. And good. We need more of this. If someone thinks something, I want to hear it from them. I don't want Vox to rewrite it for me. I don't want the HuffPost to sort of put their spin on it and all the rest of it. Now, Mayor Pete was due to go on there. Brilliant. More speech. Let's hear what he's got to say. But these scumbags... this is Angelo from Media Matters. If you don't know who Cernovich is and why this is probably not a good idea, look for the mayor. Feel free to visit Media Matters or just DM me. I'd be happy to share. So yeah, they've pressured him basically. They've pressured Mayor Pete. Look at this, shaming this prick from Vox, shaming the press secretary for DMing Dane Rubin. How disgusting is this? How insane is this? If you're going to complain that Dave Rubin only has right-wing reactionaries on the show, but then you're also going to harass anyone who you can't label as that from not going in, then you've created the problem, haven't you, Carlos? It's your doing at this point, you freak. Anthony as well, prick from the Huffington Post. This podcast is starting to look like a bad idea. Why is it starting to look like a bad idea? Because you are smearing it, because you are pressuring it, and you are... What it is the Vox and the HuffPo are dying. They're dying. Media Matters is a little bit different, but these people got so much speculative investment on the basis of the fact that they got clicks. Facebook just has pretty much abandoned them at the moment because in terms of their censorship and their hate speech stuff, they can no longer account for like just kicking off Tommy Robinson, but not these guys. The same rules that are applying to them. But anyway, he cancelled. You know what, Mayor Pete? Go fuck yourself. If you can't stand up to Vox, then you can't stand up to Trump. It ain't going to work out, mate. It's probably for the best. Just quit now. You're never going to be president. Jesus. Sweet Jesus. And yeah, speaking of that, Paul Joseph Watson, the Imagine My Shot guy from Prison Planet from InfoWars, is shown today exactly what I am talking about here. Because here's Mike Stutchbury, 2018, happy about the fact that Stitcher had dropped InfoWars. Let the market decide. Yes, you're happy to celebrate, but you're not letting the market decide, are you? You are smearing. You are pressuring. You are shaming people for wanting to hear someone's point of view. This comes back onto Mayor Pete, our super social liberal, gay mayor, lovely guy that speaks all these different languages, that does all these wonderful things. He's he's a soldier. I think he was in like the volunteer fire department and all sorts of lovely stuff. The same smears that you use is now backfiring. And here we go, Mike, you prick. What the fuck, Facebook? Someone reported my Independent article. Oh, we're going to get onto the Independent more today as well. About Tommy Robinson running for MEP. And you deleted it for going against community standards. Yes, Mike. Yes, Vox. Yes, Huffington Post. Yes, fucking BuzzFeed News. The situation you've created is backfiring on you. You have got to the point where any mention of Tommy Robinson gets deleted from Facebook. Or no, there's a more accurate way of saying that. Any mention of Tommy Robinson potentially has it. So if I just write Tommy Robinson on Facebook, which is not going to happen because I walked away ages ago. I'm going up for 2 years off Facebook now. If someone reports that, just the word Tommy Robinson, or Tommy Robinson deserves the right to speak, that can be deleted. It has been deleted. This has been documented many, many times. It's now firing back against you, isn't it, Mike? Eh? Your own little independent smear piece for Tommy goes against it. Fucking freak. They don't learn though, do they? Some of them are learning slowly, very, very slowly. But yeah, a little bit of schadenfreude for you in the morning. But here's the thing. It's getting better. There's good news. Happy things are happening. So here we go. Facebook changes live stream rules after New Zealand shooting. There's Nick Clegg there. The breaker of the breaker of promises. He's been hired by them. Now, I'm not so interested about this. I can understand them doing this and all the rest of it, because what they're saying is they're bringing in a new rule that with the New Zealand shooter, if it had been in place, he wouldn't have been able to live stream his thing. Now, all right, here's the obvious thing. Yes, he wouldn't have been able to live stream on Facebook. He just would have done it somewhere else. These people don't seem to realise that, do they? They don't seem to understand that you can't just crush an opinion. You can't just crush a perspective. You can't just censor. You can't just get rid of these people. It doesn't work. But New Zealand has led the charge with 14 other countries. It's been gone by New Zealand and France to encourage tech companies and countries to work together to do more to limit the spread of extremist content online. Now, here's the thing. They're not limiting it. They're banning people. They're suppressing speech for arbitrary reasons. It's social engineering. And the more they do it, the worse things get. There's just been an upset in Australian elections. The centre-right party have come in and they're calling it like it's like Trump or Brexit or whatever. People are going, oh no! And that's... I would attribute part of that to the fact that this censorship is coming in. People want free speech. They want to stand up to it. But there's some good news, man. America's standing up to him. It makes me so happy, this. And people are pointing at Trump and saying he's a bad man, and we covered this a tiny bit on Thursday, but I really wanted to bring this up again as part of this. All these countries that are supposedly trying to get rid of hate speech and all the rest of it, which the American government, the White House, has said, no, we're not doing it. Because it's part of the Constitution, it's part of the First Amendment. The American government can't pass any laws to restrict speech. That's how it works. They can't do it. And good. whilst the whole world is panicking, whilst the whole world is freaking out about the rise of extremism, America's standing up to him, and this makes me very, very, very happy. And in fact, I've moved it, so give me a second. Actually, this might take me. It's Verge, isn't it? And here's the thing: they're not just standing up to them; they've actually released this tool, and this is phenomenal news. It really is. Like, love, hate, indifferent to Donald Trump, not relevant, right? Take him out of the equation for a moment and just look at it this way. If you suspect political bias caused such an action to be taken against you, share your story with President Trump. Okay? And I hope that everyone on the left and the right does this, especially American citizens. This is so important. There is a huge war being raged right now. And it is the people who control the media, the people that want to continue to control the narrative, for the simple reason that it keeps their shitty websites alive, Vox and BuzzFeed and even The Verge. They want to keep control of the narrative. They don't like these other people that are coming in and taking over. They don't like the fact that I can just sit here, not that I'm some big fish in all this, but people like me can just sit here and talk. They don't like it. They label it as hate. They label it as everything. You all know the smears, man. And finally, this is the really good thing about this new tool, right? This isn't some big, it's not taking any kind of political stance whatsoever right now, yeah? We've got first name, last name, are you a US citizen, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into this, actually. No, we're not going into that right now. But they're asking for screen grabs, they're asking for what happened, and good. They are collecting a body of evidence that shows that these tech companies that have taken over public discourse, they have dominated the public space, right? We can't keep saying any longer that it's just a private company, right? We can't. A private company buys the park and then bans you for going in there because you're black. That's not fair. They can't. Someone desires service to you based on the colour of your skin, your sexuality. That cannot happen. We have laws against that, and for good reason. Okay? Now, these people have dominated to the point where they influence global elections. They are openly removing Trump supporters from Facebook right now. And this is a problem whether you support Trump or not. This is a huge, huge problem. Okay? This is amazing. This is fucking amazing. Share it. Let people know. Give them the ammo that they need to actually, because regulation is coming, whether you like it or not. It is. The internet's going to change. It's already happening, man. But right now, MasterCard, Patreon, Facebook, all these people at the moment, they're the ones making the rules. Government will step in. If you've got a left-leaning government right now, that's never going to stay forever. You'll always get a right-leaning government at some point. And if things keep going the way they are, you're going to get a very, very right-leaning government. Because the more angry people get, the more they're going to vote that way, okay? And these people will bring in legislation. This, right now, is our only hope in terms of the legislation being on the side of empowering people, on the side of protecting your right to speak. That's what we need. All this shit at the moment with attacking, that's a totally different thing, actually. We'll get to that in a minute. All this shit at the moment with attacking people's reputation, all this shit with, pressuring advertisers, shame by association, guilt by association, all that bollocks. Either that's going to win or free speech is going to win. And the tech companies, YouTube, Facebook, they need the power. They need to step back, right? So if you see an advert on YouTube, what needs to happen is the legal protection. So when YouTube has that advert and someone might not agree with something I'm saying, or someone that anyone's saying, and they say, how could you put that advertisement next to that? YouTube needs the political and the social power to say, we can't do anything about this. The advertisers are supporting the platform. That's what we need. We need that freedom of speech. It needs to be built in, man. We've had great revolutions in all sorts of ways and throughout history, and we need one right now in terms of the internet. We need one. It's only going to get worse until it gets better. We need freedom of speech. Step up. Support it. Speak up. I know you might be worried. You might have a job. You might be worried about your family. And you know what? Be reasonable about it, okay? You know, and be nice. Don't be a dick about it, but you need to stand up for this or it'll be gone. Juliana says, it's like they feel we're unworthy to form our own opinions. Fact is, removing both sides of an argument leads to more divisiveness. Of course it does. Of course it does. And all these people that you ban, right, okay, let's put it this way, right? The vast majority of the people don't give two shits about the media. They don't care about. They don't know that the Guardian is far left, for example. They don't know that it has. That they don't know that most publications have a bias, a political leaning. They don't know that activists have just taken over newspapers at this point for the most part. They don't realise this. They just buy whatever they buy and they read the news and that's it. They don't know. They don't understand. And there's nothing wrong with that. They don't have to live in that world. They don't realise until they're the ones that get banned for saying something. You know that that women don't have penises. Blocked, gone, banned. You're out. Bye. Right. So suddenly a normal person who's just come across the culture war and just said, wait. Women are women, and it's like, right, you're banned now. That person who didn't give a shit about it, didn't care about the leanings or anything like that, suddenly they've been politicised, and they're not allowed to express their opinions. They're not allowed to have a debate. They're not allowed to have a discussion. There's not allowed to be nuance. They're gone. They're outed. They're on Gab, which isn't in itself, a hateful thing, but then because they're on Gab, they're part of the side that's been smeared. Who do they turn to? The people calling them racist, bigots, Nazis, or the people making memes that are telling them they're okay and saying welcome to the club? Who are they going to go for? And if they are not exposed to these opinions and they're not exposed to these other things, and it's all brand new to them, they don't have the necessary defences against the bad actors within it. Bad actors within any and all movements. They don't have any defences against it, and that's the problem. That's where we are. Thank you, Julian, for your comment. That's the thing, isn't it? And that's why I don't watch Dave Rubin. I've seen a couple of them, but I don't like it generally. It's just a bit. He's a bit too distant, and he's a bit too passive. And for me, I'd like him to just challenge them a bit more. Not with this gotcha journalism bullshit, but just have a bit more going on. I don't want to insult his intelligence, because he's obviously not stupid, but the way his mind works, I guess he's not got like that desire for like the banter quite as much. That there's not enough edge to him. But I stand by his right to speak. I stand by what he does completely. 100%, man. Let the man speak. Disgraceful assholes. Guys, if you're new, please subscribe. Watch more videos. Do everything. Get yourself on triggerwarning.tv. Jesus, man. Oh, I didn't mean to talk for 30 minutes straight on the first story there. I'm so sorry. I've not even got to the main one. That was the warm-up story. Jesus Christ. That doesn't bode well, does it? Let's get on to this. I've seen an interesting one today. Horrific it is. I'm at the bottom of it. Let's get to the top here. So, MP responds after having traitor painted outside his house. Labour MP for Rhondda, Chris Bryant, said the word was written outside his office and responded saying it would not stop him speaking out for the best interests. Other MPs have expressed solidarity. So there we go. Obviously, this is a Labour guy. I'm assuming this is related to Brexit. I'm not going to guess what was inside the mind of the person that did this, but it's hugely Brexit at the moment, isn't it? Or whatever, really. It could be any number of things. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. This is terrible. This is disgusting. This is intimidation. And Twitter moments, which are curated, by the way. A lot of people mistakenly think it is an algorithm. I have no idea how Twitter has got protections from being a publisher when they have curated moments like this. It's disgusting because they definitely pick and choose what they want. They choose the tone. They've got in a lot of trouble for smearing people as alt-right, far right and all the rest of it. They've got in loads of trouble for this shit. I don't know how they get away with Moments. Moments has a bigger reach than most news organisations, which is why I use it. Because this is what billions of eyes are seeing. And this is important, man. This reaction is right. This is correct, right? Whether you're pro-Brexit, pro-choice, pro-life, pro-whatever, right? You shouldn't be intimidated. You should be allowed to speak. You should be allowed to conduct your business. Non-coercion, non-violence, that's the thing. That has always got to be the core. We've got to start remembering that. We've got to start remembering and holding that and saying that, And if he wants my attention, I'm guessing he could have just rung for an appointment. Yeah, it's nice that you're being light about it and everything. So we got Rob Powell here, from Sky News, isn't he? Yeah. So bleak. Can't understand why people don't ask themselves at some point during the process of painting stuff like this, what the hell am I doing with my life? True. Enough of this vileness. The graffiti seems to be done with a giant stencil. Maybe not. I mean, they could have just had some cardboard. I don't know. Again, fucking Chucker. Just fuck off, Chucker. But here we go. Good for you. Blah, blah, blah. Defending our democracy. This is right. This is all the correct response, by the way. And there's a reason I'm going into this. It ends with the Independent as well. The Indie fucking pendant. And there's a reason I chose this moment. Labour MP Chris Bryant's office spray painted in red with traitor. Oh, here we go. Very sombre, that, isn't it? Very sombre thing. Look at this. Rightly so. Childish behaviour. Blah 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 blah. So check this out. I've got the actual thing here up, and this is very serious. I'm not going to read the whole thing because we don't have time for that. You can go and find it yourself if you want to. But it's been spray painted with the word traitor in what appears to be an act of politically motivated vandalism. Yes, that's what it is. That's how you report it. That's exactly what it is. Presumed to be related to anger over Brexit. Mr. Bryant has also revealed several death threats in recent weeks. This is important. You got a quote of him saying it's shocking. This is the right tone. This is true. Someone has broke the law. Someone has committed an act of vandalism for political gain. It's trying to intimidate him. Chances are I don't agree with him. I can't fucking stand Labour right now. I can't. I think they're a disgrace, even to their own principles. But I'll stand against this bullshit. But why is it that we have this horrific coverage of it? Yeah? The vandalism is bad enough, but using highly charged language like traitors against political opponents is not acceptable. No, it's not acceptable. 100% independent. It's nice that when it suits your politics, you can get it right, isn't it? How fucking convenient. Because when someone gets milkshaked, when someone is assaulted whilst calmly campaigning, suddenly the tone is different. Suddenly you lead with UKIP, who repeatedly joked about raping Labour MP, gets milkshaked. Suddenly the framing changes, doesn't it? When it's actual violence, when you don't agree with their politics. Let's read this, shall we? Because this is very important, right? Bear in mind how that last one started. Bear in mind the tone of that last story, okay? Was perfect, was spot on. A crime has been committed. We're not quite sure how or why milkshakes have become the perfect way to protest. The perfect way to protest. You are glorifying and inciting political violence. Independent. How did this get past the editorial stage? How did an editor read this, the opening line to this story, and say that this is okay? It's because there's no such thing as journalists anymore. The vast majority of them don't exist anymore. It's activism. Parading. Where's opinion? Where's opinion? Where is the clear marking to say that this piece is an opinion piece? If you are going to incite political violence, then at least have the fucking integrity to mark it as opinion. After a near miss while campaigning and blah blah blah, the man who has made rape jokes. Okay, let's remove all context from that, shall we? Let's completely remove context from it. Because what you are saying is he deserved it. What you are implying is he deserved it. The incident occurred whilst canvassing potential voters. Yeah, do you know what he's doing? Do you know what he has been doing? He has been standing there out in the public for anyone who agrees or disagrees with him to come and talk to him. Whether you like Carl Benjamin or not, he is one of the only people in this country right now that is doing political activism with any kind of integrity whatsoever. Any kind of integrity. He is standing there and saying, if you do not agree with me, come and talk to me. And people are attacking him. They are slashing his tyres. They are smearing him. They are screaming at him in the street. And the Independent is doing fluff pieces covering for him. Covering for the people. What changed? Why, when it's a Labour MP or a UKIP prospective MEP, what's the difference? Where's the integrity? Where is the consistency? Greg Evans, you piece of shit. You are the fucking problem. A video, and what's all this? A video of Benjamin immediately after being hit by a milkshake has emerged on social media, with many protesters heckling the YouTube star, who has previously blamed feminists for the actions of mass murderers. He hasn't blamed. It was a I'm not even going into that. But what you're saying is he deserved it. That's all this is he deserved it. He deserved it. Fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting. They slashed his tyres. This isn't okay. This isn't happy. Here we go as well. A day later, they're still going with it. Why? Because they need the clicks. Because they are dying. That's why this is happening. They can't exist unless they demonize these people. Unless they make them into this comedy bad guy. They have to let you know. I mean, what the fuck does far right even mean? You've got to ask yourself that. They should not be allowed to use these things unless they are willing to actually define it. Because what does far right mean at this point? It's meaningless. If anything, this dude's a centrist. I mean, read his policies. He's a wet fucking centrist. He's so wet. I've seen him challenged on the NHS and he falls to pieces about it. He does. It's a weakness. He's like our Aiden. Mention the NHS and they get all teary like, oh. Blind to the failings of it. Blind to the weaknesses of it. Blind to how poorly run it is. This guy isn't far right by any definition whatsoever. The far right hates him, but this is what we do. That word there, far right, means this is a bad person and you're okay to not like him. You're okay to not attack him. You're okay to attack him and feel good about it. And you know what? We're gonna put out article after article after article celebrating it and defending it. But it keeps going. Tom Dawley here, who works for the Mail, I think. Yeah, the Irish Mail on Sunday, and Aldi, apparently. Good for him. Lobbing a milkshake at Nigel Farage, because obviously he's the other. He's been labelled as far right. is, in a sense, exercising freedom of speech. The police are wrong. This is in response to the McDonald's being asked by the police to not sell milkshakes. Asked. Not forced. Asked. Fuck you, Tom. Fuck all these pricks getting together and creating this narrative that political violence is okay. Lobbing a milkshake at Nigel Farage, and I'm someone who has never voted for Farage, and I'm definitely not voting for him this time around for reasons I've gone into previously, is not, in a sense, exercising freedom of fucking speech. It is political violence. It is assault, and I'm so glad your prick ass is getting ratioed for this. Because look at this, he writes for the Mail, but he's sharing a Guardian article here, isn't he? Because they're all on the same fucking team. They are dying and they are trying to protect their interests. And the likes of Carl Benjamin, the likes of Nigel Farage are stealing it from them. Farage doesn't have to go to the Daily Mail. He doesn't have to go to the Guardian. He doesn't have to bend the knee to these pricks in order to get support. He's already got it. It's already happening. And here we go. It just keeps going on. Police ask McDonald's, and it's ridiculous as well. The tone. This is why I started with that Labour one, because the tone is just insane with it. Again, far-right figures such as Tommy Robinson and thing. How are they far-right? Define that exactly. Exactly. What does it mean? Okay? This is political violence. Where are the pieces saying how bad it is? Where are the pieces saying, like, because what they do is they just put out stuff saying, justifying it. Here we go with the same thing. Robinson, the former English Defence League. We have to say that every time, don't we? They don't talk about the fact that he left once it got worse. They don't talk about the fact that he tried. He was actually on a thing, and yeah, they did. They had some horrible people involved with him. But Majid Nawaz got him out, and he was going on the thing. He was going to go on a tour with Majid Nawaz. He started the tour, and they were going to talk about radicalisation, and it was supposed to be a really positive thing, but they got shamed out of it. And whereas Tommy's rhetoric was coming down and getting better and getting more reasonable, it then went the other way again. Because he got shamed, he got othered, he got banned. Because deplatforming doesn't work. No matter how good it makes you feel at the time, it does not work. These people don't cease to exist. Get it in your head. They don't stop having the opinions that they do. The only thing that happens is they can't have the conversations anymore. They can't be challenged. They can't see other perspectives that are out there. If their cousin's daughter was raped by a Muslim, and the only person they've got to talk to is Tommy Robinson about it, then they might radicalise and start thinking all Muslims are terrible. Even though Tommy himself says specifically, of course, the vast majority of Muslims are actually fine, like any group. It doesn't matter that he's saying that. If you other them and you out them and they've got no other perspective, then what hope do they have, eh? Real name, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, of course. That's a trope. That's a trope. We only ever say that for the bad guys. Never say it about Ben Elton or Elton John, or whatever. You'd only say it about Elton John if he got caught committing a crime. It is a trope. We are justifying it. And again with this, another article. This one's from The Guardian. Talking about the milkshaking, talking about the attacks, and all it says about him is Benjamin is being investigated by the police for rape comments targeted at the... Yes! Because you did it! Okay? He made this joke 3-4 years ago, or whatever it was, and then he did another one as part of the thing. What you do, Independent, what you do, Daily Mail, what you do, The Guardian, what you all do is completely remove context and then create a beast. You put out these articles every single day, several times a day usually, and what you are doing is going rape, 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 right? And then you're harassing these people. You're harassing Jess Phillips, who fucking loves it, by the way. Scumbag, that politician that she is. She loves it because it's political currency for her. That's all it is. She don't give a fuck about all this. She just knows she can play the victim and get a few votes on it. And she gets protection in terms of the ideas and policies that she's presenting to seriously control and censor the internet, that then gets a protection, doesn't it? For example, I'll give a personal example in terms of this. I worked on a film in Taiwan. 6 weeks we were there for, and it was very low budget, very hard going. The directors hadn't got a producer there. So, you know, if you've ever worked on a film, you need a fucking producer. You can't... Oh, I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, it was really, really hard going. Very high stress for everyone involved. And I found out about my daughter. I was the first assistant director, so I was the only one that had a phone on because I had to liaise. We were sorting out stuff with the Chinese government and all sorts. I mean, the Taiwanese government. Taiwanese, they're not Chinese. But everything had to be presented in Chinese and English. There was loads of shit going on. Horrific. So much red tape. I had my phone on for those reasons, right? So that I could nip out and go sort it. And my phone blew up. Loads of people were texting me. I Skyped her. Pregnant. You're going to be a dad. Oh, my God! Because I got the news that I was going to be a dad whilst there at like 4 a.m. or whatever it was when we were filming. It made my job easier as first assistant director because no matter how bad things were, at least no one else on set had just been told they were going to be a dad with someone who they'd only been seeing for a few weeks. I was given leeway. When I had to break bad news, when I had to think, I got a little bit of leeway on that. And, you know, for good or ill, it is what it was. Hopefully I wasn't a dick with that. You know, hopefully I wasn't a dick with anyone because of that. But it made things easier in terms of me being when you're the first assistant director, you kind of have to present bad news to people. You kind of have to be a bit of a, I don't want to say it like this. You have to be a little bit of a dick. If someone's going to be unhappy with anyone on set, it's going to be you. Part of the job is to keep the negative attention off the directors as much as possible. Although that was not always easy. It's not always an easy job. You know, if there's bad news, the director will tell me to go and tell everyone. So everyone's going, fucking hell, Graeme. But it keeps the thing with the, you know, whatever. Jess Phillips is doing exactly the same thing with this rape tweet nonsense. And it just keeps going, doesn't it? It keeps going. Because we're going to keep pushing it on, saying it's okay. Stand Up to Racism are a left-wing campaign group. Their president is Diane Abbott. This is an activist arm of the Labour Party. And here they are. I hope that's not too loud. Nazi. I've not got my thing on right now. But, yeah, here we go. You're not welcome here. You're a Nazi. You're a fascist. That's not okay. That's not okay. This is helping Tommy Robinson. Political violence, shutting down free speech. This is not okay. This is one political party intimidating another person. No matter what you think of Tommy Robinson, no matter what you think, you're right or wrong, there's a good chance. Like we're all usually wrong about everyone. We are. Everyone in politics. I can't stand Jess Phillips at the moment. I think she's disgusting. But if I met her and spent some time with her, I'd probably find some decent things about her. This is authoritarian. This is totalitarian bullshit. He's not a Nazi. He's not a racist. He's not. Demonstrably show. We interviewed him. We tried really hard to find him saying something racist. We tried really fucking hard to find him advocating for racist policies, racist laws. Nothing, right? He's not a racist. He has opinions. So here's the thing, man. If Labour are going to send these people, there we go. This isn't good enough. This is not the good guy. You're not winning. You're giving him support. You're giving him followers. This isn't okay. This is intimidation by political activists. This isn't cool. And yet it gets higher. We're going to we're going to smear people, we're going to call them names, we're going to call them far right over and over again, and it leads to everyone laughing about milkshakes, it leads to them screaming intimidation in the streets, which again is covered for, and then it gets worse and worse and worse, relentlessly, until we're at the point of violent revolution. a group calling themselves the Muslim Defence League have just been found throwing, they're saying bricks, we don't know it's bricks, but stones, God knows what, at another event that Tommy did. And this is actually where I grew up, exactly where this is. I know, I mean, we're talking 25 years ago, and there was a separation between white and Pakistani people. Even then, there was parts I didn't go to. You know, when you talk about no-go areas and all that nonsense, they existed. My school was 50-50. I don't know what it is now. But yeah, the school I went to was literally like white people on one side, brown people on the other side. And that's what it was. And every now and again, there'd be big war. And I didn't even understand. I didn't even get it. It just was what it was. This is 25 years ago. I wouldn't go back there now. I don't know what's happening. Polarizing even more. And I'll say this, though. They even split us up in terms of classes. Now I think about it. It's messed up to think about it. I didn't even realise at the time. But they did. Oh my God. There was two. I'm not going to say the school. I'm not going to say this, but there was two. Let's say, you know, there was school one and school. Oh my God. Now I really think about it. That is fucking scary. That's not how you do it. That's what leads to this. Two different communities. I barely knew any of them. I knew a few of them, but not really. You know, oh God, that's scary, man. We were literally racially segregated at school. I've never really thought about it. But this is what we get here. Now, here's how the Guardian covers it. Here's the police standing there. No, this isn't the full story. And in fact, even the way the Guardian are covering it, no integrity, even at the point where women and kids are being attacked in the street, and I'm not going to say by Muslims, just by these people who call themselves the Muslim Defence League, these arseholes who are looking for a fight and all that. They're not representative of Islam as a whole, of course they're not, but they are using their religion as an excuse because they are extremists. Even in the coverage of this, police have warned there will be arrests after 2 police vehicles were damaged during a disturbance at a Tommy Robinson campaign event. Isn't it? Suddenly they get so vague, don't they? Alive. It just gets, suddenly it gets all centre ground, doesn't it? And both sides and all that, because they can't bring themselves to admit that there's just normal people out there who like Tommy Robinson. They can't do it, can they? They can't. And here's the core of it. Politics and the media have been completely taken over by the middle class. There's no space for working class voices out there. I know, man. I'm a skilled media person. I have stood there at the BBC. I've stood there and talked to the people. I've talked to the people who do the money. And they have heard my accent and discounted me immediately. Because there's no space for people like me. There's no space for my thing. And I'm reasonably canny in terms of the media. And don't get me wrong, I'm not some like shining example of what the working class, because I live in a weird thing where middle class people are just like that with me, like, yeah, all right, you dirty shit. And working class people don't generally like me either, to be honest. I mean, you guys, you know, if you are and you're watching this, that's all right, because you intimately know me. I'm talking about out and about or whatever. They just see me as like a student-y SJ. Everyone tends to view me with suspicion. You know, it's the way it is. But I was good at my job doing homelessness work, because once people sit down and get to know me and all that, you know, they won't like me at first, but we got on really well. Because I didn't disrespect him. I didn't I understood that within the media, within TV, within politics, you have to speak a certain way, and they didn't speak that way. You know, working class, and there's no ground given whatsoever at the moment. And if someone has got an argument that they want to make, and they don't have their Oxford education, they don't have the journalism degree, they don't understand all these hidden meanings to all these words that, like far right and all that and all this nonsense, they don't know the context. So they'll say something and it's really easy to paint them as an idiot. It's really easy to paint them as a racist or a Nazi or a thug or a yob and all that when they're not. The vast majority of them are decent people who just want a quiet life. They just want to go to the pub. They just want the kids to be all right. They just want to get on with their friends and have a community and have a family and all the rest of it. And they're currently being labelled every horrific thing under the sun. And what that does is create space for people like Robinson to go in. And there's that trope, isn't there? He talks like us. He speaks. He says what we're thinking. All that nonsense, man. It's just a question of respect. People vote on a very small number of issues. Very, very small number of issues. If you say to them, you used to be in the BNP, they say, okay. So what? Every politician out there is corrupt. Every single one of them. I can't see this getting any better. I can only see this getting worse, man. It's just getting higher and higher and higher to carry on from that. This is what we've got, man. This is the MDL. This is the Muslim Defence League. This isn't good enough. Why do the police have their backs to them? I mean, admittedly, this could be a bad moment. There could be a tactic here. Why do the police have the backs to him? Think about this. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. This is happening right now. This is happening where I know that street. I remember that street. Now, it's all because of the narrative, because they know how the stories have been written. Look at all the stories we've looked at today. Look at the tone, the context, right? If Tommy Robinson supporters were doing this, and don't get me wrong, sometimes in the defence of this, sometimes it's just the numbers. The police can't step in because there's too many people, and that happens with everyone. That happens with Antifa, happens with Tommy Robinson's lot. Do you remember that riot in London a few months ago? They just had to let him go because there was too many of them. That could be happening here, but the police also have orders from above, and they have orders based on how they know these things are going to get written up. And I suspect very strongly Tommy Robinson supporters wouldn't be allowed to get this far. It's the reason why Antifa also tends to, although it's changing now, but historically Antifa get away with a lot of horrible stuff, open calls to docs, because they know the media is going to cover for them. They know that there isn't anything, that there's very little true journalism out there. It is just activists, people who openly support this, people who openly say they are anti-fascist. And the police know that. The police know that if they ran at these people and stopped it, they're going to get called racist. That's all it'll be. It'll be just one line or whatever. Police attack Muslims at Tommy Robinson rally. Who wants that headline? Julian has said they could have stopped them around the corner. They could have done something. Bob Stewart said, if you want to know which side of the law you're on, find the nearest police line and look at the way they're facing. Yeah, that's the thing. Why are they facing the Tommy people? This is just more votes for Tommy. That's all it is, and everyone's panicking about it and all that shit. And I sit here and I just watch it happening, and I see it. The milkshakes, the rhetoric, the vibe. It's going up and up and up and up, and more of these people are going to win. This is how Trump got elected, guys. We keep saying it. Let me go back through a few of the comments. Just a second. Police walked them within throwing distance. They did. No stone. Chicken has said stoning is cultural tradition that dates back thousands of years. It would be intolerant to stop. That's quite funny, actually. Yeah, because of the old. They kill the gays with the stones, don't they? Yeah, I get that. That's funny. Patrick has said, I don't think it's a class thing, Graeme. This is a good point, actually, and I think I know where you're going to go. I'm not on board with class differentiation. It's more about attitudes and conformity to stereotypes and skewed values and judgment. Yeah, it's not. I agree with you, Patrick. It's not just a class thing, but I do think class is important. But obviously, you know, Nigel Farage isn't necessarily, you know, a dirty miner, is he? He was a banker and all that. So yeah, it's not necessarily a class thing. I think it's labelling any far right. Oh, sorry, it's labeling any right wing values, or not even that. It's labeling anything as far right, whether it is left or right. Brexit isn't a right wing endeavour. It's got nothing to do with left and right, but it's been labelled as far right. He's been labelled as far right. Free speech was traditionally, you know, so here's the thing. I grew up with Alexei Sale and Ben Elton and George Carlin and Bill Hicks, and you know, free speech was how you rebelled. It's how you got new ideas out there. It was how you started revolutions. It's how you stood up to the system. But free speech is now being labelled as far right. I do agree with you that and yeah, please don't get me wrong. I wasn't saying it's entirely a class thing. But what I'm saying is, in terms of the people stood there with Tommy Robinson, in terms of where he goes, I'm not going to see him in central Manchester. I'm not going to see him round here. Because I live in a student area, you know, so obviously, you know, more middle class, more wealthy, and very, very ideologically narrow. He's going to very poor areas for a reason. So that's what I mean specifically with that. I wouldn't tie that to absolutely everything, and I do agree with you there. But you said, also Patrick said, agreed, way out of order, authoritarian behaviour. Yeah, it is, and there's a reason why I started with the attack on that Labour guy, because that is also out of order. You know, of course it is. Which again, get yourself on that Verge article, please, please, please. Last bit on this. When the far right crack rate jokes, it's part of a systematic bid to demean. This is it. This is the refinement of the narrative. This absolute scumbag, Nick Cohen. I fucking hate Nick Cohen. But at least The Guardian bothered to write opinion on this. But this is in the women in politics section as well, isn't it? Just keep telling women they're weak. Keep telling them they're pathetic. It's fucking ridiculous. Men are more likely to be assaulted. Not that it's a competition. Men are more likely to be assaulted. Men get more abuse online. Stop drawing these stupid fucking circles around women as if bad things happen to women. Women get horrific abuse online. Of course they do. But let's stop drawing a line around certain fucking groups. It's ridiculous. Yeah, because they only deal with a narrow thing. But yeah, fuck you, Nick Cohen. Again, far right. What does this word mean? Please define it. When the far right crack rape jokes, go fuck yourself, dickhead. Go fuck yourself. And again, here we go, Carl Benjamin. But then it brings it up though, doesn't it? It brings it up in terms of associating it. Gang rape. Terrorist attacks. All this, man, like ISD is an ultra nationalist. It's like, this guy just wants to leave Europe, man. That's what he wants. He wants to leave Europe and he wants free speech. Fucking vote for Carl Benjamin. Do it. If you live in the southwest, fucking do it. Just for free speech alone. And just to put a middle finger at pricks like Nick Cohen highlighting all this stuff. It was a stupid joke. Was it offensive? Yes. Was it horrible? Yes. But this is what they do. Nigel Farage. Look at these. Fucking TERFs as well, bringing that bullshit into it, man. In journalism, I've seen male, black, and Jewish writers abused as Cohen. Yeah. Let's bring the anti-Semitism shield up, shall we? But it's nothing against the hatred my female colleagues receive. Hey, why don't we bring some data up for that? Why don't we bring some fucking data up for that? Shall we? Hey? No, he's not going to do that because it would show that this is wrong. Which only proves, where's the data? Give me the fucking data, you piece of shit. Propaganda, those who would abuse and cooks. Look at all this, you scumbag. And again, it's just refining it, refining the narrative. Get on there, let them know. Let them know if you have been censored, if you've been closed down, if you've been banned. I'm going to go into that in a minute. Guys, please, if you are new, subscribe. Hit the trigger warning logo if you're watching this as a clip. Get yourself on triggerwarning.tv. If we provide value to you, then there's a thing there. You can donate via PayPal. You can join our Patreon to support us long term. If you do join the Patreon, don't go crazy, man. Don't go crazy. Like $5 or something like that. You know, just like buy us a $5. What's that? Like a coffee or something. Don't go mental. I don't want to see you losing out. But if we do provide value to you, then please get on board. There's all the other links there. And, of course, our chat rooms. Patrick has said the obsession with left and right demarcation should be deemed hate speech. It is a divide and rule control construct against free speech. I agree with you there. I'm trying really hard myself to avoid using it. Because it can mean it. The problem is you say left and right, and to everyone it means a different thing. Like if I look at the colour red there, that colour is slightly different for every single person that looks at it. To some people it will look blue or whatever, you know what I mean? We all have our own interpretation, and whereas red might only vary slightly across different people, the left and right, you know, what are you talking about? Are you talking about individualism versus collectivism? Are you talking about pro-life, pro-choice? Are you talking about you know, there's so many different metrics that it doesn't necessarily make sense. We do have there is a reason for healthy left and right political parties, but there has to be crossover. We're getting to the point now, and again it is this. I fully blame the media. They are radicalizing people relentlessly with this bullshit. And yeah, it's all falling apart. Good! God, I need a wee. So I was just going in my pants. Imagine if I did. That'd be great. Guys! I'm going to... Wait. Oh, that feels better. That feels much better. Thanks for joining us. I'm getting a load of retweets and all that. If you've got, I always get loads of retweets whilst I'm live on air. I had a thing off Hayden. I can't cover it yet. I think we'll talk about it on Tuesday. Right. This might have to be the last story of the day, depending when my girl gets back. But this is a CNN. I've chose CNN intentionally for this. The dangerous idea lurking behind the new SAT score. Do you know what? No. I'm going to do this. But guys, I'm desperate for a wee. I don't want to wriggle through it. I'll be back in a minute. Literally like 2 seconds. Hold up. Oh, yes! Oh! That feels so much better. I was starting to panic. Legitimately. Fano said I missed it again. Sorry, gents. Oh, that's alright, mate. Make sure you put notifications on. Ring the bell. Chicken says it's already too late. Nah, man. Nah. It's not too late. The thing is, maybe for us, but these things happen, man. You know, there's that whole trope about like hard times create strong people create good times and all that, and good times creates weak people create hard times, and it's like a cycle. And we're at the point now. We are, in terms of America, they have a huge uprising, a huge war every 80 years or so. America has the clearest cycle actually on that in terms of civil war, huge upheaval and all that, and it's about every 80 years, and they are right on it right now. And I think they're... Oh, I don't need that, man. I've not listened to anything. I think because, and the reason I say America is because they have all the social media, and that's what's driving it at the moment. And it's for the most part, is American companies driving it on a global thing. I think, but I don't think it's too late necessarily. There's just going to be some fireworks, and it'll reset. It will reset. We might not live to see it, but it will. It'll get better. Of course it will. We just got to keep speaking on it. You got to keep fighting for it. I definitely think we're at the point where I think, I'm talking about the West now. We're at the point where we're starting to remember why free speech is so important. I think that's the point. It's been so long since World War II, since genuine fascism, that and my worry, and the reason I go on about the left so much, I mean, because I think the right is reactionary, and for a start, I don't think the problem. I think that the problem with right people who are becoming more extreme isn't I don't think Nigel Farage is an extremist, not by any measure. So whereas he's been labelled as one, far right and all that, yeah, whatever. I don't care about that. What I'm more worried about is extremists on the left, with the media running cover for them, covering it up, painting it. These people are totalitarian fascists. They are, and that's the concern. Because what they are doing is engaging in fascistic behaviour, whilst the media writes fluff pieces telling the world that it's fine. That is the concern at the moment, and I think it's going to kick off. I really do. And there it goes. Anyway, let's get back on this, guys. The SATs have been repackaged, and it's so funny. So, for anyone that doesn't know, a little bit of context for you, there was the diversity, wasn't it? That was the buzzword in American universities, and there was an issue because they were trying to get more black people in, ethnic minorities essentially, more girls and all that. And it turned out what they were doing was kind of racist. Yeah, obviously it was. If you're letting someone in because of the colour of their skin, then that is racist. They're being sued at the moment. And there was an hilarious byproduct of this thinking, because Chinese or Asian people, which covers so many different kinds of socio-economic backgrounds and all the rest of it. Let's put that to a side for 1 minute though. What they classed as what they classed as Asian, did really well. Really, really well. To the point where Harvard has currently got a legal challenge against them, because they were making the entrance requirements harder for Chinese people. You had a lower goal if you were white, lower still if you were Hispanic, lower still if you were black, and yeah, so it's funny actually, isn't it? Because rather than sort of saying, oh well, if you're white, then by default you've had an easy life, which is just ridiculous. They started saying it to Asian people, and they've got in trouble now, and good. They shouldn't be saying it to anyone. Nobody should be brought into a university or a school because of the colour of their skin, or because of what genitals they like to put in their mouth. It's ridiculous. It's fucking insane. But because they got done for being racist, and it is racist, it is judging someone on the colour of their skin. Because they got done for being racist, they have now repackaged it into something called the adversity score. And even CNN is looking at this and going, this isn't good. What are you doing? You can't, because now rather it's so stupid. Conceptually, this approach oversimplifies the adversity any student faces. Yes, of course it does. Into a calculated score derived primarily from generalized environmental factors. Yes, because what you're going to do, you're going to lie, aren't you? Oh, God, yeah. Of course I'm gay. I love sucking dick, me. I love it. Oh, cool. There we go. That's 10 points, that. 10 points. You're nearly at Harvard. Not only am I gay, I'm not sure what gender I am. Oh, my God. You get 20 for that, mate. Oh! I'm quarter black as well. Oh, quarter black. Yes. The fuck. You're robbing people. And you know what the end result from this is? From this intellectual racism, intellectualized racism, because that's all it is. Because you're going to get a load of people in the school who shouldn't be there. You know, fucking Yale, Harvard should be getting the best of the best of the best, and that's it. That should be their criteria. If that means 90% of the student body are Chinese, then that's what it should be, because that exposed faults in the system leading up to it. What's going on? We need to look at that. You need to look at the underlying reasons, not cover it up at the university end. By the time you get to university, there should be a lot less people than there are right now, and it should be the cream, so that degrees mean something. This university, college shouldn't be some fucking glorious right that everyone has. It completely misses the point of the whole fucking thing. It massively does. Massively. I mean, the amount of idiots who were at film school with me, like after 3 years, couldn't set a camera recording. Not balance it, just literally didn't know that the red button turned it on. Ridiculous. So anyway, because they were racist, they've now got this other thing that's amazing. It's the environmental context dashboard. It contains no information on the student's race or ethnicity or racial makeup. Okay, they're not asking that. Victory, we've done it. But what they do is they get your area. So they look at, like, if you live in an area that's typically black, you know, primarily black, then it's like, we're not going to ask you, but we know. Don't worry. For fuck's sake. The median family income, irrelevant. Percentage of all households in poverty, irrelevant. Percentage of families with children. This is what they're looking at now. So based on where I grew up, I grew up in one of the most economically deprived areas in Europe. I think at one point, actually, I had the lowest life expectancy 1 year. So my postcode would have been like, ding, 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 ding. Does that mean I deserve to be there or not? No, it's got nothing to do with it. Do you want to have... do you want to accept money off some celebrity who's offering to pay for the education of a black person? Oh, you know what? I want to pay for black people. If that celebrity wants to do that, let them do that. You know what I mean? I think that's racist. I think that, putting it on, saying a black person needs their education paid for over a white person is racist. But I know they're doing it for the right reasons. Of course they are. But the university themselves doing it. The university themselves saying, because you are black, you are less. Because you are black, you need more, is disgusting. Astonishingly racist. Percentage of housing units that are rentals. You see, this is the thing, right? This is all legitimate data, legitimate demographics, but it's irrelevant. They should be looking at this and then pouring money into fucking primary schools on the back of it, not universities. I mean, so what? So my neighbours are unemployed, so I should get a place at uni? Fuck off. And all it is because they're legally being told they're not allowed to say race anymore. This is left-wing racism, isn't it? The bigotry of low expectations. And again, they want diversity. They got it. The Asians are kicking ass. They are a minority. And you've got a minority doing really, really well. You won. Oh no, but these people are racist pieces of shit. So as far as they're concerned, no, it's not quite right yet. We need a few more gays. There's not enough black. Oh, there's too many Irish. It's like, fuck off with your social engineering bullshit. What kid? You know, if you're a black lad that's grown up, single mother, food stamps, all that shit, and you've worked your fucking ass off, and you are the best, top of your class, everything, straight A's all the way through, and you've done really well. You don't want to go to Yale and have them going like, oh, we want to let you in because your mum doesn't have a job. Fuck you. You're not even giving them the space to have self-respect. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, I get it in terms of the highest school looking at outside activities. You know, are you a member of debate associations? But I get that. And I get the sort of getting them to write an essay as, you know, I understand that. Because if you've got thousands of people who were all the top of the top of the top, then yeah, I get it. But at least be clear, at least be open. The students don't even see these ratings. It's all secret. It's all kept apart. How they work it out. And it's because it's racist. A Chicken said Dundee University does something similar. You fill in a form, depending on how oppressed you are. And the example I always give on this, one second. Black guy. Grew up in a poor area, but his mum and dad were phenomenal. I'm poor, and I work my ass off. If anything ever happened in terms of my family, I'd try so hard to stay with Soph. I would get on my knees and beg. I would change every part of myself. Honestly, I'd lose. Not that I'd like to do that, and not that she'd ask me to do that. But if it meant my daughter having a mother and a father, which is the greatest privilege any child can ever have, that is above money even. Having a healthy relationship with your mother and father, there's no better start in life at all. And that's the point. Black kid comes from a poor area, but his mother and father love him. His grandma lives next door. He eats well. He gets loads of support. None of this is a metric that's measurable. It's not. His dad reads to him every night. Dad reads to him for an hour. His mum lets him know what's going on in the news. His mum challenges him during the day about his own preconceptions, gives him different ideas and all that. There's a white guy that lives next door that becomes a surrogate uncle. Looks this black lad from the first generation immigrant that comes from the shittiest area ever, gets amazing grades and gets in or whatever. But okay, so what if there's a white guy, posh accent, Jacob Rees-Mogg's kid, and I'm not saying that, you know, like one of his talks like that, walks like that, millions in the bank. What if they were raped every single day as they were growing up? Yeah. You look at the skin, you look at the clothes, you look at the bank balance, you look at the accent, you look at the area they're from, you look at the schools they went to. What if that uncle raped them every single day for 10 years as they were growing up? And that fucker's sat in front of you asking for a job interview, and you sit there judging them because of the colour of their skin, because of their accent. And there's this idea of who faced more adversity to get there. What if the black guy and the white guy have got the same scores on the SATs? Who do you pick? Who do you pick? If you're a racist piece of shit, you pick the black guy because you assume the black guy is lower. You assume the black guy is lesser. You don't know what the white, posh, rich lad necessarily went through to get those straight A's. You don't know. And I'm not saying that's just a bit of a thought experiment in terms of, you know, how oppressed you are. The people that come up with this oppression stuff are bigots. They are. They see black people as less. They are allies for minorities. What the fuck? Minority needs your allyship. They need friends, maybe. They need, basic common decency. But why do they need you to be an ally exactly? An ally against what? What's oppressing them? By default. This fucking nonsense about minorities. Fuck off. My building. I'm in a minority. Why? Yeah, there's not many white people in my building at all. Muslim majority is my bit here. Am I a minority? Am I oppressed within here? Hey. I see. The thing is, in terms of the way they draw these cultural lines, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. You start out at racism, and then you move back in terms of the reasons. It's fucking ridiculous. Diversity exists and it should be celebrated, but adversity scores sounds like some kind of Northern League football team. Yeah, that's true. And it exists. But the problem with diversity is it is code for whoever we want. It is code for less whites. It is code now for less Asian people, which is just insane. Don't ask why there is knife crime, just remove knives. Yeah, true. I'll tell you the answer to that, man. There's a few ghettos in Manchester. There's a few no-go areas. And it's Labour. Specifically here, Labour government, Labour council, man. They've just created these ghettos, and I tell you, this isn't the only answer to it. But I tell you this now, right? This is like fatherless households, shit areas, kids bringing up kids, and it's a thing, and I'm not sure exactly what. But one solution, I had this idea, right? So the government just gave away all our council houses to private companies. Fucking joke. They run them terribly. They don't care. The tenants don't care. I suspect I've had a really good idea, right? They say to people living in council houses, you can buy the house. I don't know what the amount would be, but it'd be less. Be way like £20,000, something like that. Something reasonable, right? They say to them, you can buy this house, you will own it. Let's get rid of death taxes so that you've got something that you can pass on to your kids, so that you've got a stake in your area, you've got an investment, you've got a reason for it to be good, and you've got a reason, your neighbours have got that reason. You can buy that house for, and I'm talking like way less than it's worth, 20 grand, 15 grand, whatever, right? But the deal is, housing benefit will not pay for it. There's no benefits. You will pay for it. That's it. And that's the risk. Don't force it upon anyone. You can't look at the bedroom tax. It didn't work because it was forced. It's bullshit. It's just created more problems. But something like this, an idea like this, and obviously it could be refined or whatever, you are creating people. Because right now we've just got these ghettos. Nobody owns any property there. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares at all. They don't care, and there's no pride. There's no responsibility. These people, and the reason I'm mentioning this with this, it's just this social engineering. It doesn't work. What you need to do, let them own it. Let them own the house. Once they've got a stake in the area, things improve. Private ownership, property rights, pride. I think that's it. I think that's a good idea. I think it take a long time, but you're not engineering it then. It's not like, the government owns the house, but a private company manages it, and then that company manages the sell. No, it's putting it on them. They own it. If that place breaks, they have to fix it, and they have to pay for it as well. It's their money. They got to go. They got to work. So what are they going to do? They're going to sit around smoking weed all day, playing video games, because the government keeps paying the rent. The government keeps, sending those shitty little, keep giving them just enough money to survive. Or are they going to say, I'm going to whip my fucking ass off and I'm going to buy this place and I'm going to leave it to my kids? And this isn't a race thing. This isn't white, black, or anything. In fact, I'm thinking of white people right now in terms of Manchester's issues. But you've got to pay for it. That's my idea anyway. But we never do anything like that here. It's all just bullshit, isn't it? Right to buy is given to less. No, I'm not getting into the Tories and Thatcher and all that. Patrick has said secure environments when growing up is essential. Communities fragmented. Yeah, communities have been astonishingly fragmented. I was talking last night actually about to myself about it, and her grandparents live in a council house, so it's rented off the government kind of thing, and they're old enough to know real poverty. They're old enough to know how lucky they are, and they treat it. I just assume they own the place because they looked after it so much. Now the Scregs next door, young people, they're playing the same game that so many people play, where it's like, you have a kid, you get a house, you get benefits, you're all right. That's the thing. A lot of people do it. You can't explain it, and that's what they did, right? Garden's a mess, place is shit, antisocial behaviour, noise, little bastards. They've been evicted now, moved on. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. They don't care if their antisocial behaviour brings down the area, brings down the house prices. They don't give a fuck because they don't own it. They've got no skin in the game whatsoever. They'll just turn up at the council and go, I need a new house, I'm homeless, I've got kids, blah, 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 blah. There's nothing there whatsoever. And there's a definite generational gap there, and it's that thing of like strong people, weak people, and all the rest of it. There's that generational gap, whereas the grandparents are renting just the same off the same company, but they treat that place like a castle, like it's there, because they know how bad the world actually is, and they know how sheltered people are. And I think too much of the benefit system in Manchester is just sheltering people from the reality of life, of like, you know what, just if you work your ass off, you could have something to send back to your kids. You could own your own home or whatever. But here, that's just gone. It doesn't exist. Patrick said, yes, my extended family missed out on council houses sell off. Yeah. I like the idea of millions of council houses managed as a similar way to early days. Yeah, me too, man. I'm not saying get rid of, but I would say, there needs to be a mixture. There needs to be a huge mixture. We need a lot more houses. Neighbourhoods were much happier back in the day. They were, and part of the reason they were happier is because life was harder. People knew poverty. People genuinely didn't eat for days. We don't have anything like that right now. Not in the UK, anyway. I know shit happens and it's bad, but we don't have anything even close to thingy. Thanks so much, Sutty, for the kind words, and thanks, Patrick, for sharing it. These racist pieces of shit. I'm going to get rid of that anyway. What's it called? Affirmative action. It's weird, isn't it? Like, I used to work with a guy, right? French guy, Muslim, hated black people. Hated him. But I liked his company. I didn't mind. I didn't agree with him on that, but we worked together. It was all right. Really didn't like black people, so the intersectionalists would have had a field day with that, wouldn't they? An immigrant Muslim who hates black people and really hates the gays. But he didn't treat anyone. He didn't treat black people badly. He didn't treat gay people badly, and that's possible. You can live in that world. And I can't remember my point. But yeah, oh yeah, that was it. At least he was kind of honest about it. He didn't, his racism, he's just like, oh, they're dirty, whatever. I don't like them. That he would be straight up and say it. He wouldn't come up with environmental context dashboard. He wouldn't come up with all these ridiculous affirmative action, intersectional feminism. If you're a racist, just say it, man. Just say it. Guys, don't forget to subscribe and share. Please let people know. I do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. If you find value in what we do, please consider donating whatever is comfortable. We go out 3 times a week. The big show on Thursdays, the podcast on Tuesdays, and of course Sunday's stream, which is only supposed to last for an hour, and I'm currently on an hour and 34 minutes. Oh my god! But my girls just messaged me to say they're in McDonald's, so I ain't going nowhere. Stick with me if you want. I'm gonna keep going if that's okay, because I don't usually get to talk about all the stuff I get to talk about. So let's keep going. Alan, nice to have you, Fano. Good. Have a great weekend, everyone. Hayden, more sweep picking. I love this. Quick shout out for Gaden Jewett. This is a new YouTube channel that we found where I've not actually watched any of them. Bless him, he's got 1 subscriber, and obviously Hayden is the other fella that I do trigger warning with. It's already been flagged.
Right, one more thing.
What's he doing here? I don't get this. What's the point? I just wanted to have a quick. I've not looked at this yet.
Today,
is it just a straight clip?
This image is concerned.
Oh, mate.
Now, some folks just lost the chat box there for whatever.
What the fuck is that shit? Is that it? And there's the podcast.
Oh, and the Israelis will definitely come and knock your fucking house down.
Oh,
not sure.
Is this it?
I'm here because children everywhere are suffering.
Oh, you're gonna... Oh, right, I get you. So you're gonna play a little bit of our clip, which was probably done specifically to annoy you, and then you're gonna put loads of stuff on it. Do better. You can smear better than that. Go read some Mark DiStefano at BuzzFeed. That's how you smear people. I'm a bit disappointed by that. I've been saving Gaden Jewett for the show, and it was shit. Bollocks, mate. It's always funny as well, isn't it? Like, we get a lot of lectures with people saying, oh, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. And it's ridiculous. Especially Tuesday, you know, you do realise, don't you, that the idea of Tuesday is that the other person tries to take opposing viewpoints. You do realise that, don't you? You know, like, so if I say something nice about Israel, he'll naturally slip into Palestine's side on it. Like, that's how it works. Otherwise, it is just two men circle jerking. Asking me what flavour I vape. I think I've got melon or something at the moment. What was the translation? What was the transition like from Siggy's? Not very good, to be honest. I've not done very well. I still miss the dirt in fags, and I still smoke. I do both now. I'm getting the worst of both worlds. I smoke and vape. We've not gone in restricted mode yet, but for anyone has noticed, we are on 1,000 sub now. We've still not been monetized. Hey, I'm sure there's people queuing up to advertise on our channel, and they're not doing. Right, quick reaction here. There's a shock. Australian elections. I've been trying to follow it, but it's so weird because the way all the words that they use are different. So liberal there means centre right, which is actually probably closer to the right meaning of it, and then Labour. Labour like centre left, or so. It's hard for me to follow, or is it the other way around? Oh fuck, I can't remember. But I get really confused every time I try to do it. I know there's been a bit of a shock and all the rest of it, and the reason I wanted to bring it up as part of this was because they're calling it like Brexit and like Trump, and there's a really, really powerful quote in here in terms of Bill Shorten. This is meant to be his victory party, and here someone said, "It's not you, Bill, it's the country." And this is really, really important. It's the reason I wanted to do it. You know, he didn't lose because he's got bad politics. He didn't lose because Australia's been slowly slipping into the freedom of speech thing, been slowly like slipping into censorship and all that. And this is the sentiment here, isn't it? He's not the problem. The people are. And that's why I wanted to mention it, because it makes me worried. You know, it's not Morrison, it's not the Liberals, it's not the policies, it's not Queensland, it's not Dutton, it's the country. And it's like, no. Not usually, if you can't provide something. But I don't know. But the problem is, this attitude of like, it's not you, it's them, gives us Trump. And then we get stuff like this. This is hilarious. The Trump economy is hurting most Americans. Statistics won't fool voters. That's not the thing, man. Trump's polling is at the highest it's ever been. 56% of Americans like Trump's handling of the economy. The issue with, and again going back to before, with the milkshakes and the rhetoric and all that, is you end up with Tommy Robinson MEP. So I keep talking about him because I think he's got a chance. I think he's going to be there, and there's going to be fallout, and it's going to get even worse. And we get it here now. The more they attack and the more they put things on him, the more problems we have. It's like the more people eventually just get in that camp, and it's like, do you know what? I don't want to be on the negativity and the attacks and all that. I'm just going to get in with them, and more people are doing it. Trump has got a load of donors for 2020 who ignored him last year, who hated him in 2016, sorry, and his approval rating is just going up and up and up. I can't see it, but in a survey by the Washington Post, more than 80% of Democrats and 66% of independents said the economic system in this country mainly works to benefit those in power. They have no fucking idea how good they have it, do they? 80% of Democrats. Oh my God. You guys are fucked. You guys are fucked, and you're going to keep putting this out, man. The American economy is doing really, really well. There's no getting around that. The UK economy is doing really, really well as well. And yet they keep coming out with the same the same shit. It's all terrible. Look at that car place, that car factory that's closed. It's all over. It's like, but then there's a reality, isn't there? I honestly think the UK, our economy, and I've said this before, I think our economy is doing well because the government is distracted with other things. And it all leads to this. Yeah, well, this is it. Trump wins the big donors, man. You can't... He's a weird one, Trump. Let me know what you think of him, actually, because I'd like to know this at this point. I think he's a dick, but I do think that most of his policies are actually... Most of what he's done has actually been okay. In terms of a president, in terms of what they do, you know, like, I think his chasing prison reform is excellent. I think him releasing non-violent prisoners is phenomenal. I think him pressuring world governments to decriminalise homosexuality is phenomenal. I think he says a lot of awful, shitty things. I think efforts to actually reduce taxes are good. You can't just point at rich people. I think he really needs to get on top of spending. Spending's ridiculous at the moment. But I think overall he's an arsehole that does good policies. Sorry. I do. And I don't think the Democrats are going to be able to beat him. I really, really don't. Actually, Ricky's just agreed with me there. They're going off the deep end. They're talking about whether or not... Here's the thing. Here's why Trump's doing well. Here's why we've got that upset in Australia. Here's why Nigel Farage is doing well. People on the left are too busy fighting over whether or not their candidate is too white, or whether or not the penis that is in between the legs disqualifies them. All this, I'm not going to go into the abortion thing, but a lot of the rhetoric around men deciding women, it's like... That is insane. I mean, you can be for or against it, but saying that it's men telling women is nonsense. Complete nonsense. Those are democratically elected people. And the more people play this game about, you know, gender and race and sexuality and all this other nonsense, the more people are just going to get behind people like Trump. And like the upset in Australia and all the rest of it. It never ends. It never, ever ends. Unlike this show, which is going to have to. We're going to have to go, aren't we? Let's just check for comments before we boogie. No, we've got the creepy and non-triggerists sitting. I don't want to call you creepy. I'm only messing. It's just because it's a non. No one's saying anything in the live room. You're just sitting and watching. Hiya. How you doing? Patrick said the mainstream media needs to start telling the truth, but I suspect they are too heavily controlled by cabal. They need to grow the pair. That is the issue. That is my main issue right now, is telling the truth. That is what it all comes down to. There's no respect in the media anymore because they openly lie. And I'm not saying they don't, they lie. They all come, well, show me a link then, provide evidence that I lied. It's lying by omission. It's lying by removing context or adding context. That's the issue right now. And more people are turning away. We're heading for big things in terms of the media. Huge things. Huge upsets. Hopefully Trump will win. At this point, the man is an arsehole. That sexually, the way he talks about people disgusts me. That so much about that man disgusts me. But right now, he's trying to get freedom of speech on the internet, whereas his opponents are trying to restrict what you can say. And they're in bed with Facebook. They're in bed. Here's the thing, man, about that fucking private industry bullshit, right? Oh, it's a private company. They are working hand in glove with politicians. In America, the Democrat Party, they know when Zuckerberg walked in for that grilling, he knew them all. He knew the senators. This wasn't the first time they met. You can't say that freedom of speech is only the government when the government are getting private companies to restrict it for them. It's a loophole. It's a workaround. When Labour, this is why I doubt I will ever vote Labour again. Certainly not in the next 5 to 10 years. When they openly called on Google on Facebook and everyone openly, proudly call for people to be removed from social media. They're not even hiding it anymore. This is a problem. You can't just say it's a private company. We all accept, right, the cake thing, the gay cake thing, okay? If I'm gay and I go into a cake shop, the legal protection is this. I can pick up a cake, I can take it to a counter, and they can't refuse me based on my sexuality, yeah? As long as I'm behaving, I'm not causing a fuss, I'm not causing an issue. Obviously, you refuse service if I'm being a dick or whatever. But if I'm calm and everything, I do that, yeah? That's the line there. That's the legal protection. And right now, we don't have that basic legal protection. It comes into when they say, with the cake thing, they went around every cake shop they could until they found one that said no, just so they could get a bit of a fucking thing going on. The idea was that you can't tell me to go into the back and create something especially for you as an artistic thing there. It's on the borderline. Of course it is. It's right on the fucking line. But in terms of social media, in terms of this landmark case that's needed, and it is needed, we don't have that borderline case. We don't have our Baker Cake moment yet. And for some fucking reason, the person at the front of actually defending your right to expression, your right to speak, it's Donald Trump. What the fuck is going on? Patrick said Tulsi Gabbard could be better. At least Clinton didn't get in. Yeah, I really like Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, I really, really do. Wouldn't disagree with you about Donald Trump. Find out who funded him to be his puppet in the White House. Yeah, well, I mean, I get it. And the whole who funds you thing, there's a lot of idiots there. I'm not accusing you of this, but it's a trope on social media, isn't it? It's like, who funds you, who funds you, who funds you, and it usually means you don't have an argument. It's who funds you, who funds you, and I get it. It is important. Who funded who is important, of course it is. But ultimately, it's like, and part of Trump's thing right now, will be because people are deleting Trump supporters. Facebook is openly censoring people who support him from their platform. Not just the big people, not just Alex Jones and all that, but individual accounts with hardly any followers. They're just sweeping them away by the hundreds. And you know what? Trump might have certain interests because of his donations. He might have certain interests because of his own ego. He might have interests because Facebook is literally unpersoning his support base from the internet. And Facebook dominates half of all social media. Half. YouTube is like another third. Twitter's another, third. But the Facebook, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. So that the Facebook company, half of all traffic, half of political discourse online. Trump is a dick. Trump might be doing this for whatever selfish, arrogant arsehole reason, right? But who cares? Who cares? He's doing the right thing. This is the thing, man. This is the thing about the guilt by association and why I hate smears so much. Trump might do something next week, and I'm like, you fucking dick. What the fuck are you doing? What's all this bollocks about Iran? Why are you putting so much effort into Iran right now? I can't stand all that. But right now, for whatever reason he's doing it, he is doing the right thing. He is. And it's like, I know I've just been talking about removing context and all the rest of it right now, but right now, regardless of his intent, regardless of context, what is he doing? He's trying to save the fucking internet. Whilst we've got Article 13, whilst we've got Article 11, which they renamed, whilst we've got bullshit hate speech laws, whilst we've got more and more people in government on everywhere, every single bit of part of government, queuing up to bring new rules in to just restrict and restrict and restrict. And all it does, that's why I did the milkshake thing earlier, all this restriction and smear does, and all this silencing does, is just make things worse. Assholes. Patrick said, "Yeah, cake break. Yeah, it was an ethical dilemma, but I think the decision went the right way. Right, guys, I've got to go. But I love you. I love you so much. You've all been amazing. Thanks so much for joining me. Please click the TW logo. Get yourself on triggerwarning.tv. We go live Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, which is right now for an hour extra than it should have been. Please consider joining our Patreon or dropping us a PayPal donation if you would. Install the Brave browser, join our Telegram, do all the things, be an amazing person. Please watch the rest of our videos, catch up with everything, and join us live. Get involved, send me links, affect me, challenge me. If I am wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But tell me why. Tell me what I got wrong. Please. I won't be offended. I won't block you. Tell me, how am I wrong? I really want to know. Genuinely.